Hello there. Welcome. Just going to make sure that everything is working. I do see some people chiming in. If you're watching this on YouTube, if you want to participate in the comments, come on over on my website, SEPT28 live, and that's where you can join in the comments. So welcome. I hope that you can all see me. Make sure to refresh the page. I see that Zoe is here. Hello, Zoe, welcome. Yes. Can you also see me on the website, or are you watching me on YouTube only? On YouTube only. Okay, so I must have the link incorrect then. Sorry about this technical mess up here. Okay, well, Christoph is the moderator here, so thank you for taking care of all the comments. So if you click on the YouTube image on my website, I hope that it takes you to the video. Just go to your teaching. But you can see me? I can see you on YouTube. Okay, cool. All right, so let's start. Well, welcome. I'm really happy that you're here, especially from overseas, really late in the evening. My name is Sophia, and I run the ConvertKit focused website called sophiaoja.com, where I teach online entrepreneurs how to use email marketing, specifically with ConvertKit, so that you can grow your list and make your dreams possible. Today, I'm really happy and excited to show you a demonstration of the new visual automations feature in ConvertKit. And if you are have heard about it or just curious about visual automation, it essentially is a visual way to make your funnels happen inside of ConvertKit. So from the moment a subscriber joins your list, joins that journey, until they complete their entire customer journey, you can craft all of that, design all of that using the visual editor. So I am going to jump right in and share my screen. So you should be able to see my screen here. I would have loved to know in the chat how many of you already have the automations activated in your account. And if you have you started to play around with it? I would love to know that. So this is what your automations page will look like. Here, in the past, you used to have automations in the top bar here. When you click under it, you will see automations and rules. And I want to start off by mentioning that while the visual automation is being rolled out, you can always use the old automation trigger rules. That is not going to go away. In fact, we may even need it at different stages. So let's say that you are let's create a scenario, right? Because always useful to have scenarios. And I'm going to start a brand new automation like so. As you can see, I've already played around a little bit with the visual automations. So in this scenario, you are a hand lettering artist, okay? If you happen to be in the audience, that would be an amazing coincidence. But let's just say that you are an artist, a hand lettering artist, and you've got a course that you want to put on automation. So you want to have an evergreen sales sequence that will put your that will offer your e-course or your product, whatever that may be. But in this case, it's an e-course to everybody who enters your funnel. Okay, so how are we going to build that? Start with a form. Now, the entry point, as you can see, is a form or a tag. If a subscriber joins a form, let's say you have a complete guide to hand lettering, they will enter the funnel here. And let's say another core lead magnet that you have on your site is a hand lettering fonts workbook. And these two are your core lead magnets, the two main avenues for new subscribers to come into your list. As soon as they enter your funnel, you want to give them a tag. Okay, so before I go any further, I just want to point to you these three pillars of visual automation. And they're all color-coded. So as you can see, an event is orange. That means when something happens in the funnel, then the next part of the journey will take place. I'll go into more detail. I'm just giving you a rough overview right now, okay? Next, actions, they are green. And if you're visual, this is really helpful. As soon as a action takes place, that means you can add the subscriber to an email sequence, a tag, or even cause a delay. And I'm going to explain the difference between the three in just a second. The conditions are purple. So this is really where the conditional branching off happens. So it's a yes/no question. If something fits that condition, then the next thing in the journey takes place. Okay, we'll see all of that in action. So let's now give them a tag. So we're going to use the action and add the tag interested in hand lettering. So as soon as this tag is added, you know that this group of people who have come through these two forms are being prepared or are ready to receive a sales sequence. Now, let's say you don't want to immediately bombard them with a sales sequence. You want to build some rapport, right? You want to offer some useful content, even more useful content, before you pitch them a product. So the next thing you would do is offer a okay, let me gather my thoughts here again. The next thing that would happen here is you will offer a sales launch sequence, but in that sequence, you will have enough time lag, let's say 1 week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, whatever you choose that to be, so that the first email of that launch sequence goes out after that many days. All right, so that's something you would do in the sequence settings. So let me show you how to do that. So everybody who has that tag interested in hand lettering is now going to, before I do this, I want to make sure that they're not already customers. So this is really important. You don't want to pitch something to somebody who's already a customer, right? Especially if you've been creating lots of different content, and not just new subscribers come through this funnel, but also existing customers, because they love everything that you do. They're back in the funnel. So this is where a condition would be useful. So when you add a condition, and that says, hey, do these people have the customer tag? If they do, I don't want to pitch them again. That would not make any sense, right? But if they're not a customer, then I would like to pitch them. And please, excuse the language, pitch. I don't mean it in an aggressive way. I know that that word can have a lot of loaded connotations. Basically, you're inviting the subscriber and sharing with them your offering, right? So here you're going to offer them a launch sequence, which is hand lettering 101. Add action. And another thing I want to point out is that this launch sequence will then include the pre-launch, the launch, and the post-launch sequence. So all the emails that you want to pitch will be inside of this email sequence. And the great thing about visual automation, if you click into the email sequence, you can work with it, right? So that's the exciting part. You can build your sequence as you build your automation, as you build all of this. And inside of the settings, I will make sure that I exclude the customers. So this is where I want to make sure that any customer is excluded from receiving. This is not really necessary because you already have this yes/no question, but you can add that there as well. Save all. And so I hope you're all with me. I'm not able to see all the chat messages on YouTube. If there are any questions, then Christoph, can you please share them on the Chatango chat? So I hope you're all with me so far. If they don't have a customer tag, then we're going to pitch them the course. The next thing that happens is, again, we're going to ask a condition. Now, after they've gone through this launch sequence, and if they've still not purchased, then what happens? We're going to, again, segment the list and say if they have the customer condition, then just keep going. Don't do anything. Let them be. But if they don't, then I want to know that they were pitched the course. And I'll use action in order to make sure that I know that these folks have been pitched the Hand Lettering 101 course. Okay. And finally, at the end, right here, I want everybody to get the newsletter tag so that they're back in my normal everyday email flow, and they will start getting my weekly emails. So this was a quick rundown of setting up an evergreen sales sequence. Now, I know that there may be some questions here and some things that are a little bit confusing. For example, what's the difference between a condition versus an action. When would you use that? So a condition, as you can see, is a yes/no scenario. Imagine that you are going into a restaurant and you're standing in line. It's a Sunday brunch restaurant hour, and everybody is going to the local most popular restaurant. And so there's a big line. Now, when you come to the end of the line, basically think of this as a reservation, right? If you have a reservation, then you move straight to the restaurant right here, the next thing. If you don't have a reservation, then you have to go through this email sequence. And only then will you get to the restaurant. Okay, it's like in the last automation presentation, I shared this example of going to a wedding. You are coming to the wedding, and at the door, you're asked, are you from the bride's side or the groom's side? Basically the question is, are you from the bride's side, right? If you're not from the bride's side, then you go over here. If you are from the bride's side, then you go into this track, okay? And if you're in this track, something cool happens, and if you're in this track, well, you just move to the next thing. So that is what a condition is. An event is essentially, let's say you click on event. As soon as somebody is given a tag, then the next thing in the journey happens. Okay, so as soon as, let's say here you want to say, as soon as somebody gets a hand lettering tag, then you want them to receive a email sequence that delivers that hand lettering course, right? So that's the difference between an event and a condition. And one thing that's really cool that you can notice is that all of these icons are different colors and different shapes. And something you may not recognize right away is that the tag is either green or orange. And it depends on what exactly you've asked the automation to do. So for example, if I add an action and a tag is added, it's going to be an orange tag. But if I add if I add an event, it's going to be an orange tag. And if it's an action, it's actually going to be a green tag, even though they're exactly the same tags. So with the color coordination, you can know whether it's an event or an action. So that's another neat thing about the visual automation. Okay. So this is a Evergreen sales sequence that you can create on the fly. You can see how easy it is, how quickly you can set it all up. And it's all about simplicity. You know, Einstein said that we should make things, everything should be made as simple as possible, but not simpler. So I think this is really simple and not any more simple than it needs to be. If you've not started playing with visual automations, what I suggest is you create a very simple automation. Have a couple of forms and add a tag. And you see that it's not going to affect anything until you click here and make it live, right? So there's nothing to lose. You can play around with it all you want and try out different scenarios for making this happen. And as you know, this is just one example, creating Evergreen sales sequence. On the ConvertKit website, you can see the different possibilities already. You can sell a service. You can do a launch of a product which is time related. You can do a webinar sequence. You can survey your audience. This is the example that Nathan showed yesterday in his presentation of how ConvertKit uses this automation to survey their audience. So the visual automation will make things really easy for you. Let's see, any questions? I'm really sorry that the chat didn't work and if there are any questions, please share them with me. So I'm going to stop my screen here and get back on camera. Here you go. So what I'm working on right now is to create more of these funnels for you. So I would love to know, what would you like to create in your own business? What kind of sales funnels would be helpful for you? And I will look at all different ideas and I will create those funnels. One thing that is coming up in the visual automations that Nathan mentioned yesterday in his presentation is that you'll be able to share your funnels with one click, with a link. You can share it on social media, email somebody. So I want to create those funnels for you and then share it with you with one click so that you can just take it and implement it in your setup and just change the relevant aspects as needed. So please let me know. You can email me at so@sophiaoja.com and let me know what exactly you're working on. I see a comment here. Thank you for sharing your comments. I'd like to lead interested people to a pitch for a specific software tool. Okay. That's great. We can work with that. We can create a funnel for that. Do you have an email sequence that is a value giving sequence before you pitch them? That would be important. If you can send me also any other information around that, that would be really helpful. And I will craft something so that it's very close to what you already have. What forms, what freebies you have already existing. And if not, that's fine. What do you want to achieve like this? That would be great as well. So if there are no questions, I will be wrapping up this presentation here. If you have specific questions, again, please email me and I would like to make the next presentation even more catered to your needs. Once again, this is Sophia from sophiaoja.com. I'm really happy that you joined me here, especially from the UK, late evening there for you. And I wish you all the best. Thank you. Bye.